Hello everyone again, it's Ryan, aka Dark Winter Moon, and today what I wanted to give you is an update on the experience I've been having with my local Genius Loci, or spirited place. Before we get into that, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for all the ways that you support me. So whether it's watching my videos, commenting, liking, subscribing, checking out my Etsy, joining my Patreon, and getting a tarot or a rune reading from me, it's so much appreciated. So how about we get into it? How about I update you on what's been going on with the Genius Loci? So as you know from my last video on the subject, I left an offering, and I realize now that I forgot to leave you a picture of what a mandala is like, but I'm gonna throw that up here on this video. I'm also gonna link that last video here. So let's see what happened. So I'm going along. I had given an offering to the Genius Loci, the local spirit of place, and in order to make friends with it, or at least peace. And so about a week and a half after I did that, I had another strange dream. And in this dream, I'm with one of my friends, and we're holding a witchy conference. And we're in this kind of cozy, comfy place that seems like a college, like common room in a dormitory. And there's sofas around, and there's bookshelves and all of that, and we're putting together informational packets for the people that are participating in the conference. And as we're putting these packets together, we're both kind of chatting about things, and there's another, presumably someone that is taking the conference, sitting on the couch kind of listening to us wide-eyed. And as I'm putting the packets together, I remember her saying to me, "Now don't forget to put my bio in there." Meanwhile, I look over and she is nonchalantly skinning white rats. She's literally cutting them open on the nape of their necks and peeling them like fruit. And in the dream space, this did not seem strange or out of the ordinary at all. And presumably these rats were going into the packets we were putting together as spell components. And these spell components were meant to prepare folks for the main event. And as we're talking about things, as we're putting these packs together, the person on the couch asks, "Well, is he kind of like the Green Man?" And I responded, "Well, sort of, but not really." And out of the corner of my eye, I see this activity out the window to my right, and there's kind of a shadowy form. It's dark outside, and this form, there are other shadowy forms around it, and it's obviously a great winged beast of some sort. And people are getting on it and riding and taking flight. And that was the whole point of us putting together these packets and doing this conference, was to prepare folks for doing the spell and doing the rituals that got them ready for this flight. And presumably this flight was with the Wild Hunt. So the being that we were teaching them to fly up on and preparing them to fly up on presumably was some sort of companion of the Green Man. So what, might you ask, does this have to do at all with my Genius Loci, my local spirited place? Well, after thinking about the dream, intuitively probing it, replaying it in my head, talking to some witchy friends, doing a little bit of divination, and really trusting my gut, it seemed like it was another message from the Genius Loci. The main thing that makes me think that is the extremely visceral and distinct image of the white rats being skinned. It seemed like a call that from the Genius Loci to ask, well, the first offering you gave me of ground beef was wonderful, but how about something with bones in it? Another association that really stands out to me and makes me believe this was from my spirit of place is the element of the Green Man adjacent being that everyone was flying upon, and the idea of us all joining the Wild Hunt. The Wild Hunt is a regularly held festivity where spirit beings of all sorts, especially those related to the land, join together in the wild abandon and party, if you will, of the hunt with a capital H. The green man is the spirit of the wild, the spirit of the woods, the one that guards and watches. And what I'm dealing with in this local Genius Loci is the same thing. It is an element like the green man, something like as was stated in the dream or answered to the questioner in the dream. So there's a commonality between them. I could very well see all spirits of the land at some point or another joining in the wild hunt and having a commonality or a kinship with the green man and those that ride with him on the hunt. And at the end of the day, just deeply and intuitively, I know this dream was another sending from that land spirit. And so while I was preparing and getting ready to leave another offering to this land spirit, something else strange happened. It was very early one morning. I had just woken up. It was around 5:45 or 6 a.m. The sun was not up yet, but light was starting to come to the sky. And I went out on the front porch. And from the woods, I heard the strangest sound, and I'm going to try to duplicate it for you now. And it was about that pitch, about that loud, and it was coming out of the woods, echoing from them. And in my half-asleep state, I was questioning if I'd actually heard it or not. And then about a minute later, I heard it again. And chills were just rolling all over my entire body. I've never heard anything like that. And if anyone else out there has heard anything like that and knows what it is, I would definitely like to explain it. But it does intuitively also feel like that was the spirit of the forest, my local Genius Loci, saying hi. And just the feeling I had, this eerie feeling of being watched or being noticed that I've always felt from this being, felt exactly right. So I felt further compelled to leave a new offering. And so this time I went to the store and I got chicken wings, or rather chicken legs with the bone in. And I went back to the place in the woods that I had left the first offering. And yet another strange thing happened. I couldn't find where I'd left the offering. I knew I was in the exact place because it's not far from my house. And there was not a single trace of there ever having had been the first offering I left. I mean, no overturned leaves, no tracks in the earth, no leftover pieces of grain or half-eaten fruit or anything. It was like it had never been, like it is never there. And that felt very strange because I've left mandalas before and I've returned and there's always something there. There's always a small thing left over. And of course, I was very creeped out again. And also, as I was leaving this second offering, felt like I was being watched because I'm sure I was. So, with all that said, that's where we are for now. Next weekend, a couple of witchy friends are joining me, and we're going to go in the woods together and explore during daylight and see if we can make contact. Or at the very least, explore a little and see if we can find any signs of our friend. Well, that's it for the video for now. As always, I thank you all for all the ways you support me. So whether it's liking, subscribing, following, commenting, taking a look at my webpage or my Etsy and booking a reading or joining my Patreon, it's all greatly appreciated. Well, blessed be. Have a wonderful weekend, and I love you all. Mwah.